feel the warm air coming in. And that was one heck of a storm up the East Coast. Drenched the Adirondacks and surrounding areas. We needed the water. I don't know what the forecast is supposed to be like tomorrow. I hope it isn't hot and hazy and humid. I hope it's just like this. About 60 degrees and breezy. Spotty rain. Overcast skies. I get bed early tonight. Get up before daylight. Pick a spot and go. Go research Sasquatch. Continue on with that quest. There's quite the buzz going on in the Bigfoot world. I would imagine some of you have probably already heard, and if you haven't, I'm sure you'll hear soon. So, I'm not gonna spill the beans, but it would be earth-shaking. For sure. I'm up on top of this mountain. Not gonna hang out too long. I'll set up the tripod here in a minute, try to grab the last little bit of light, view the other side of the pond. It's my old hunting grounds. I know this area very well. Kind of in between a triangle of Lake George, Warrensburg, and Hadley, Luzerne. Up on a mountain carries a nice little pond full of brook trout called Veely Pond. Been up here a couple of times this year. I want to walk the power lines that are further south. This is the area I call Research Area 5. Not quite necessarily, I guess I'll have to consider it. It's the same Research Area 5 as would be Bald Mountain, which as crow flies, I would imagine it's about 2 miles from that there mountain, well, hilltop. And that's a guess. But either way, back when I was in my mid to upper 20s, used to hunt that area heavy out behind Olden Sawmill. Deer up the wazoo out there. It was like throwing a fox in a chicken coop. But I had some great times. It was a heck of an adventure. I felt like I was right out in the new frontier of Alaska or something when I first started walking around out there. It went on forever. I couldn't find the end of it. Never really looked at a map, and then finally, as I got into the furthest reaches of the area, I realized that it was part of the Three Sister Mountains. Hickory Hill is one of the Three Sisters, Bald Mountain, and to be honest with you, I'm not too sure what the third one is. Probably should know that, but I guess I'll have to find out. And one day I was hunting, and I decided I was going to head right on up to the top of that tallest mountain. So off I went. And of course, you're looking at this here pond. Imagine a swamp that's probably just as far across and probably maybe 10 times the length. That thing has got to be at least 3/4 of a mile to a mile long, that swamp. And you got to go out around it. There was only one spot in the middle that had this little island thing in it. And if you could wade through enough, you could get over there and make it through there, depending on the water height. But either way, I went up on that mountain. Tell you a little story, and then we'll wrap this up. I got to get home, get to bed. Got a big day. High hopes for tomorrow. So I can't get over here. Probably be able to see me in order to do this. So, all right, I'll tell you the story. So I go over there to the foot of the mountain, start heading up. It's composed of what probably had this massive landslide or earthquake, huge rocks, like half the mountain fell apart and crumbled down the side of the mountain. Years upon years of leaves and moss and foliage, and it was molded over all of these humongous rocks and very soft in the middle, very dangerous. But up I go. Just like this, like climbing a ladder in different areas, and most of it was all like that all the way up. I was in good shape. I get up about halfway up that booger, and I'm gonna sit down and take a break. Sweat rolling right off me, but I was determined to get to the top of that mountain. Now I'm sitting down looking down the mountain. Of course, I'm hunting whitetail. I got my rifle with me, and I'm looking that whole area over. Now I can see the swamp. It's just beautiful out there. Imagine just sitting there and there isn't a noise. The wind isn't blowing. It is as quiet can be. And then I hear something cutting the wind. I couldn't tell you exactly how long all this took, but long enough for me to turn my head and look up, and I could see something about 15 foot off the level of the ground, and it looked like a mirage, or like a, when you look across the pavement say the hood of your car in the summer, and you can see the heat making everything like water. Well, it looked like that, and I'm like, what the hell? And about the time that I realized, oh shit, that's got eyes, and it's coming right at me, well, I jerked around, and this thing takes off. It's this humongous owl. Let me tell you something. I don't know what that owl's intentions were, but my guess is that it only saw my head and thought I was a rabbit or something, and it was going to come down and scoop me up and have dinner, take it back to the little ones or whatever. But once I moved and twitched around, this thing, 20 foot, it was coming, and it's coming right down at me. So I'll tell you what, I can understand why a rabbit or a squirrel or another, a prey would be just simply paralyzed or not see a hawk or an owl coming. When they get the right angle, they're so well camouflaged. And this thing did not waver. It did not go up, down, side. It did not do anything to the point where I could pick it out. But it was coming at me at whatever, 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. And if I was a rabbit, that would have been my last day right there. It was something else. So I get up to the tile, that's over with. I go to the top of the mountain. And this is what I remember and why I have a great interest for that area. I can't remember ever seeing anything or a sound or having an encounter that would make me think that there's Sasquatch up there, other than I know the territory, and it would be a prime area for one. But I get to the top of this thing, and it's cleared right off, thus Bald Mountain. And once I got up there and started walking around, I got blueberry patches all over, and junipers growing. It's beautiful up there. And all of a sudden I look over and I see this like rock stack, but it's got a circle around it. I mean, first thing I thought, somebody talking, or a bullfrog. Boom, 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 boom. That'll get them going. They'll actually come right into that. Well, anyway, I actually was thinking UFO. I knew nothing about Bigfoot back then, but either way, that place is very interesting. There's some unbelievable terrain. There's a beautiful brook runs down off the backside of that mountain. It's got nice brook trout in it. I think they come up from the Hudson River, or they just always been in there naturally. In the 3-4 years that I hunted that area, boot tracks were very scarce. Once you get on the other side of that swamp headed towards the Hudson River, that's a long haul, and there's plenty of good hunting before that, and no big reason to go over there. So, my thinking is that get into these areas where nobody else goes, where people don't want to go, because most likely that's probably where Sasquatch is gonna kind of hang out if they're in that area. And I'm hoping that I would see good sign, and who knows, maybe I'll have the once in a lifetime encounter. But either way, it's getting dark. Appreciate you guys watching the video. Hit the thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys doing that. That's awesome. And some of you folks have sent in comments and questions. I've answered those. I've got a phone number to call. So it makes it more interesting to interact with some of you folks, and my hopes is that I'm doing a good enough job, and maybe some of the folks that are really good at this and got some experience and will interact with me and help me out, give me some pointers, and what am I missing, what am I doing wrong, what could I be doing, because it would be a waste to to not utilize the amount of territory that I am covering. I'm out here for the cause, for my own interest, for the love of the woods, but I'm out here very often, and I love it. We got a bullfrog coming in. But all right, listen, you guys have a super safe 4th of July weekend. No drinking and driving. Be good. Take it from somebody who knows. Well, I ain't never had a DWI, but that's probably about the only thing I ain't ever done wrong. So, I'm just a little older and wiser. And you guys have a safe and happy 4th of July weekend. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow, maybe. Take care, everybody.